What's up, besties? Welcome to Recap the Bible with me, part 3. One thing I feel like I observed from this story whenever he's going to Jerusalem is people who hate you, it don't matter. There's nothing that you can do to try to please them. So I would really strongly encourage people to not be people pleasers. I know Paul was trying to use wisdom, but at the same time, it just showed like if someone hates you, it don't matter. So Paul was like, bro, I'm one of them. I'm a Jewish person too, just like you. So what I'm gonna do is when I pull up to the city, I'm gonna do like the whole Jewish tradition situation for 7 days, get ceremonial clean, all of that, and they'll see because I'm going to the temple every day that I'm just like them. I'm not an op, and we won't have no problems. When he did this, there was some problems. So it was cool for a couple of days, but they noticed. So he came with a Gentile. So for them, they used the Gentile that pulled up with him as their key to activating the haterade. For those of y'all who don't know what a Gentile is, in the Bible it says like Jews and Gentiles. So Jews were like the chosen people of God, and Gentiles were basically basically the people who weren't like birthright a Jew. And so a lot of people who were birthright Jew were like, oh, those are not God's chosen people, so we can't associate with them. This caused a lot of beef. You can kind of see this type of energy nowadays too. You can see it on Christian TikTok. Yup. So what happens is someone like me, one of my friends, you might see me take a picture with somebody who isn't saved yet. Then all of a sudden the comment section says, I can't believe you're associating with a Gentile. That would be what they're talking about. I can't believe you're associating with someone who's not saved. That's crazy. Blah, blah, blah. So they applying the same thing to Paul right now. So Paul came into town with a Gentile because he's trying to get people saved and share the gospel, and that's what God called him to do. And God specifically gave him that call, like, you're going to spread the gospel to like a whole bunch of Gentiles, you're going to get people saved, and actually let them know that if they have faith and they come to Jesus, they are a part of the family. So it's all good. It's not no longer like y'all are the only chosen ones. It's like we're all chosen. You become, Christ's child, you're born again, all that. Yeah. So they see him coming into town with the Gentile, and then they just get livid. Hatred towards Gentiles was like America's hatred towards Black people in the Jim Crow eras, fresh post-slavery eras. It was that deep. So as soon as you said Gentile, people's head just began to scatter. It's just madness, irritation. It's kind of like that's a demon, honestly. Like it's like, what is provoking you to that much anger to hate somebody? And so it was very similar to that. So if you look in slavery times, Jim Crow era, you said if you were white and you were hanging out with a Black person, they were looking at you with disgust. They were looking at the Black person like they're not worthy of being a human. They were looking at you like, I can't believe you brought a Black person to my establishment. Like my auntie-in-law, she had to go to school in like segregation times, and literally one day she just wanted to drink water, and she was like, I'm tired. I just want to drink water from the water fountain. She drank water from the water fountain that said for white people only, got beat up, traumatized. She said that she would never actually want anybody to relive the life that she had to live in that school. Traumatic. And there's people who are alive who still like endured that right now. Like she's fully alive, living her best life. But you can see it was not good terms at all. Yes, back to the story. Paul is trying to make it look like, hey man, I'm one of y'all. Fulfill his 7 days of the ceremony, cleanliness in the temple. He's on day 7. And then the haters come out and they say, this is that man. He's not one of us. He's teaching people to be anti-Jewish. He's teaching people not to follow the commandments. He's a horrible person. He's all this, blah, blah, blah. And Paul's like, hey, what you mean? I'm one of y'all. And then they're like, matter of fact, he was with some Gentiles, and I bet he let the Gentiles come into the temple, which would be comparable to a church. It'd be like, he let a Black person come into our white church. So that set it off. They said, oh, a Gentile? Oh, now we got to let him die. So then they're saying, kill him. And so imagine loving God, saying you're someone who loves God, and then shouting that you need to let this person die because they were hanging out with somebody else. And he's just trying to praise and worship God. He's going to the temple every day to do things for God. Like, so this is just insanity. So Paul starts speaking their language and they get shook. It's comparable to like me start speaking Spanish and y'all are shook. Y'all are like, since when did you learn Spanish? Where did you learn Spanish? And I'm like, oh, you ain't know I grew up in Mexico. I know Spanish. That's how comparable to what's going on. So people are like really shook right now. So they actually calm down and listen to what he has to say since he's speaking their language. And everything is good. Paul makes a whole speech. He tells his testimony. He's like, y'all, man, I'm just like y'all. I grew up here. I was taught by y'all. I made it into the highest level of being a Pharisee. That's not easy unless you're really about this life. I was killing Christians. I was just like y'all. But then God showed me the way one day when I was going to go kill a Christian. I saw a light. I got blind. Jesus said, why are you killing my people? You really need to follow me. Fast forward. Anyway, Paul gets saved and he dedicates his life to spreading the gospel. All the people are in the crowd listening to the story. I'm like, wow, this sounds like a really beautiful story. And he says, yeah, Jesus changed my life. So that's why I came down here to preach the gospel. And I came to preach the gospel to Jews and Gentiles. Everything was great till he said the word Gentiles. When he said the word Gentiles, killed the situation immediately. They said, it's like a record scratch. It went, arr! And so once he said Gentiles, all the, we're in a good mood, went left real fast. Just like I said, saying like the trigger word black people in a racist era, it was like that. It was like him saying, yeah, I'm just like y'all. I want just like y'all. And everything was great. And Jesus called me to preach to white people and black people. And then he said, black people. So then, yeah. Then they were like, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. And then, so the guard just took him and said, yeah, you got to go. So then the guard said, you're a criminal. There's no reason people would just be yelling at you for no reason. Why do you have hundreds of people yelling at you for no reason? So they're about to beat him. And he goes, wait, you can't beat me? And they're like, why can't we beat you? And he's like, I'm Roman. And they're like, what? So now they're shook again because I'm like, I thought you just said you're Jewish. Now you're Roman. He's like, yeah, I'm both, period. Just like me, I'm Nigerian, but I'm also American. So it's like, you can't stop me. I have a blue passport. That's how it would be saying. So then they get mad because Romans held weight back in that era. So if you're a Roman, that means they really can't beat you because the Romans had so much authority. So he was like, dang, Romans have a law that you can't kill a Roman and just punish them for no reason without a fair trial. Like they have to have a fair trial, like a justice system. Kind of like the United States, you have to have a fair trial. You can't just say you're guilty, you're innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. So they're like, dang it, we have to get this man a court case. So then it starts the beginning of Paul's trial process. Now, when you look at those two things that went down, it was actually very helpful and very beneficial that Paul was located where he was at certain points in life. Him growing up in a Jewish community was very important later in life as he became an adult because he was able to speak the language, calm down the crowd for a couple seconds and stay alive and not get ripped to shreds. You know, they still didn't like him because of the Gentile thing. But then fast forward again, when God moved into a new area and he became Paul instead of Saul, and he went by the name Paul due to the adopting the customs of the Romans, that also helped him out as well because it was like, well, dang, since you're Roman, we can't kill you. So we have to put you under the jurisdiction of the Roman people. So it's really cool because God designed his life in a way that he may have not even known from childhood to adulthood to specifically have him live in certain areas that ended up helping out his life later on to keep him alive so he can keep going on and doing the mission that God called him to do.